Hey, folks, welcome to You Walk Funny Part 3. When last we talked, I was in my mid 20s, past college, into a sales career where I was, for the most part, an outside salesperson. Had a few desk jobs in there, but primarily I was out and about meeting people in person, which my doctor would not have liked. My doctor specifically told me to get a desk job and stay behind a desk as often as possible. In that time, I also got married, got a bunch of kids going on, 6 kids, and life just kept on going. I kept on walking. Now, I should back up because when the major event happened, I only had 5 kids. I forget that. I've had 6 kids so long that it feels like I've always had 6 kids. But we had only had 5 at that point. The 2 that my wife had when I met her, Bailey and Braden, and then the 3 that we had once we got married, Riley, Rachel, and Riker. And then one day, I got up in the morning to go to work. Well, that is, I woke up in the morning to go to work. Because when I tried to get up, I couldn't put any weight on my left ankle. You'll remember my left leg is the one that's pretty much no good. Smaller than the right leg, atrophied, not as much muscle, not put together all that well, held together by 10 or so surgeries when I was younger. You can go see part 1, part 2, and catch up on that if you'd like. But at this point, on this day, I couldn't step on my ankle. So what did I do? What would you have done? Me, I called in for work. Said, nope, not going to work today. Simple as that. I figured I'd be better by later in the day or by the next day, because I often was. I mean, I'd gotten to the point, I was 36 years old, and my ankle would hurt quite often. And there would be times where walking just wasn't a great option. But this didn't get better. I ended up going a couple of weeks not being able to walk. So I finally had to kind of give in and go to the doctor. Because frankly, crawling around my house with all those little kids, you never know what you're going to find in the carpet. It's not good. I go to this doctor, and he gives me a couple of options. He says, look, we can try to do a little bit of reconstruction, fuse your ankle. Might work. You've had a lot of work already done. It might not hold. Might only last a couple of years. Might not work at all. Or we can get you a full-length leg brace. It'll help stabilize your leg, and you'll be able to get around. Not as well as you do now, but you're not getting around at all right now. So full-length leg brace may be a good option. Or you might consider letting it go, having an amputation. Now that I'd never thought about. I mean, sure, I'd been told I'd be in a wheelchair, but I never really thought it would be without my left leg. I mean, I spent my whole life trying to make sure that I kept my left leg and taking advantage of the time I had with a functional left leg. Figured even when I couldn't use it, I'd still have it. So that really wasn't an option. That was just something I'd never thought about and something I certainly wasn't going to do. So I opted for the leg brace. And when I went in to get the brace fitted, the person working with me was a below-the-knee amputee. And he was working with me on the brace, getting measurements, doing a casting job. And I asked him about my mobility. And frankly, I just wasn't going to have much mobility. Wouldn't really be able to bend my leg that much. Wouldn't be able to walk around as freely as I'd been able to walk around before. And it was really just kind of a stabilizer. It didn't fix anything. So I left and thought about it and talked with my wife and thought about it some more. And I decided, this guy is doing all right. I asked him what it was like being a below the knee amputee, and he said, "Well, it's been great. I mean, as great as it can be. I still can do most of the things I could do before, and I still have my mobility. So it may be something to think about." That was the option I decided to go for. And it took a couple of months, but we got the surgery arranged and was able to mentally and physically let go of that piece of me that I thought was so important to keep, but wasn't always willing to accept the fact that it was holding me back. The fact that maybe I should have had this conversation with doctors a couple of years before. The fact that that leg over the last few years had prevented me from doing many things that I used to be able to do, whether it be basketball or walking all day at the zoo or even being able to have a decent time shopping at Costco. Sometimes that's what happens in life. We get so attached to things. We put such an importance on something or someone, some situation, that we are unwilling to let it go, or we are unwilling to even think about letting it go. But I did. I made the decision, and where it took me is what we'll talk about next in You Walk Funny Part 4. But in the meantime, think about what in your life might be unthinkable that maybe should be thought about. And sometimes doing the unthinkable can lead you to your best win anyway life. Have a great day.